process. But yeah, I just want to sit with that. It's a lot and it's really formative. It feels very formative, this like practice you had, and it's more than it's a relationship with the tree and with the goddess and with the invisible, and creating what sounds like a really powerful, not just for you, but for community, community building, devotional practice. And how do you find like that experience, which sounds like it was maybe about 5 years? I guess that's not that it was recent, right? That did you
Yeah.
finish it or did it
Well,
morph into something else?
it was so wild because like after that, so I made that project and I was like, I think this is going to become an album someday. And it's like basically the album that I'm working on now with like a totally different land is like very much out of that project.
Hmm.
I didn't know at the time like what that would be or how that would be, but so it's like, yeah, I feel like there's a through thread here that's coming along. Places are teaching me and shaping me, and that's what, like every step along the way has been like a place, a project,
Hmm.
and then like this process of being reformed or
Yeah.
like learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. It's really inspiring. It's helping me remind me of like that connection is so important as a creative being to nurture and stay committed to that path because you don't know where it's going to bring you. Like you just follow, you trust. It's that again, the intuition. You're just following a calling and listening, and then it's leading you to some really beautiful places. I can't wait until your album releases. That's in September, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's I couldn't have imagined that it would happen at all this way.
Mm.
And I think that's maybe that speaks to the mystery that you're talking about, like we're holding a certain piece of that facet of that gem, and then like the land holds like every facet of that gem. And
Yeah.
then like we're just kind of like we're shining at that moment, or we're like, digging into that place at that moment, and that's great. And then like where will it lead? How will it form together?
Mm.
But you just don't need to know that kind of stuff. Like I think that's the stuff
Mhm.
that like we get really tripped up on because, well, obviously we're in like productivity, right? Like what's
Mhm.
the product? What's the
Mhm.
thing that you're aiming towards? Um, and like I'm a highly ambitious person, like super, super ambitious, probably to a really big fault.
Mhm.
And yet I'm also like really down with not knowing what a thing is going to be or how it's going to happen. Or so there's like a sweet spot
Mhm.
in that intuitive um paying attention, that like sometimes you are called to make a plan. Sometimes, you do have to have timelines. And, I'm at that point this year where it's like timelines are super sacred, super sacred, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and they help you to say, I will emerge. I will come out of the ground and
Yeah.
be a part of, the great community. So yeah.
Yeah, it's important to have the balance of mystery and structure. It's yeah, I feel that. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think they're different. It's kind of like the drumming thing.
Mm.
Like, you know, time is formless in a sense. Like every moment is split up infinitely, but
Mm.
also we can be steady and we can say here's where it is
Yeah.
and
Well, for
here's how.
you, right? That's the subjectivity of time. It's like your timing, your time,
Mhm.
and then how it meets the time and timing of other.
Yeah. So like when we were talking about intuition and talking about like how we track it and stuff like that, I think a big part of what I'm tracking is timing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um I would say maybe that's like people talk about like how do you feel it in your body? Do you know it in your gut? Do you know it like and I'm like, yes, that's really powerful, but actually like there's I have a theory. I think there is a good thing to do in each moment. Like a pretty aligned thing to do often, like
Mm-hmm.
from moment to moment. Like
Mm.
do you really have time to go and like scroll on Instagram, or do you actually like need to go and take a shower? Like do you like if
Yeah.
you're being honest
Yeah.
with like with what you know and what you're connected to and the place that like that you are in this moment, right? Like I'm Zaneta. I'm the person who's gonna go and like put this album out that's connected to this forest that's supposed to come out at this date.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a thing to do at a certain time.
Yeah.
And um that's part of that intuition, I think, is like understanding like our responsibilities and understanding like what we're connected to.
Yeah. Yeah. And tracking, yeah, like tracking yourself and that timing and there's our perception of future and past and then the present and then like you're projecting towards this goal and like being able to understand the depth of that time and knowing where to be in that space in that
Yeah.
place between and yeah like trusting that you are in the right place like trusting yeah it's time to take a shower or it's time to push a little harder on something or and finding your place in that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's wild like that we started with drumming because it is like when you think about someone having a steady sense of timing and beat,
Mm,
it's that the spaces in between one hit to another hit are equidistant. So
mm,
like if I'm playing a quarter note here and then a quarter note here, and it's like bum 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 1 E and 2 E
mm,
and there's subdivisions that are
mhm,
equally paced out to
mhm,
like give that sense of steady time.
mhm.
And so similarly with like projects that we're working on and like goals, it's like there are these mini milestones, these mini like I don't know, tasks, like points of like okay, we get here. We get here, we get here. It's not just like this arbitrary sense of like okay, now I'm this. It's like those micro movements, those micro rhythms matter
Yeah.
actually quite a bit. Micro rhythms are what make up kind of those larger senses of things.
Hmm. Yeah, that's nice.
So,
We want to map something that have coming up. Well, I am doing it. It's like funny because, it's like it is an intuitive process. I'm not sitting down and mapping the whole thing out like all at once, but I'm like, well, I know I have these dates to work with, and I know like these are the people I need to involve in this project. And so like, yeah, like, okay, now's the time to send the email, and now's the time to call this person, and now's the time to,
mm-hmm.
and like just having a felt sense of that.
And I think what you were saying earlier about having spaciousness and like not being over like having over scheduling or over like you're not so over stuff that you can't sense that,
Yeah.
because that is really like what it is, right? Like you can't have that sense of space if the space is filled.
Yeah.
It's just impossible. So it's like I struggle with that personally, like making sure that um I don't have too much on my plate or too many things that are sprinkled in
Yeah.
while I'm trying to do a thing.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, that's where the ambition, you have to like temper the ambition because I'm similarly ambitious where I have an unrealistic expectation of myself often of like, oh, I can do all these things. And then when it comes time to, maybe move in one of those directions, there's like this wall. It's like it's not going to let me go there. Even my brain starts to shut down. Everything kind of like closes off.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, okay. Let's not do that. Let's not push that thing. Um, Come back and just sit and just do nothing. And then not don't judge yourself because I think that's also there's this perception, like I was saying earlier about I'm making all these big moves, but it doesn't look like anything's happening. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like judging the activity level maybe of my day. Meanwhile, I just did this huge thing and this other huge thing is coming. And it's like, don't you just don't do anything else. You don't have to.
Yeah, absolutely. Those everything that you're saying just is like I feel that so deeply. Um, you know, I think like in general, people say rest and people say like, celebrate yourself and these like things, but they really are just so sadly true.
Yeah.
And and also um like it's just such a work in progress. Such a work in progress.
Yeah.
Like just to sit down and be like, that was a mighty big thing that just happened.
Yeah, that acknowledgement it's so easy to forget. And I do that all the time. Like, sit down, acknowledge what you just did, because otherwise, like, it's like it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just start reaching for more instead of savoring that moment and being like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot here. I don't have to go anywhere. I could just be in this.
Yeah, that came up a lot when I was doing a lot of like um reading for artists and like giving, tarot and psychic readings for artists, and people would come in, urgently needing a reading or something. And the cards or the messages that would kind of come through were like pretty often about burnout.
Mm,
It was like so wild how often, I mean, after a while, I was like, I mean, I could pretty much just say that that's like the message
yeah,
because it's like
for most
so
people.
often
Yeah.
that, like, when someone's coming in kind of like needing to know an answer or needing to know something, they're so past a point of depletion that they've become like hyper attached and fixated. And then, like, any guidance or any flow or any kind of like nourishment, it's
Yeah.
just not coming through.
It's not gonna stick, yeah.
So
Yeah.
like a lot of times it would just be like, go rest, go do something that's good for yourself. Like
Mm,
and it seems like the most basic information, and yet it's usually, like, I find with myself 90% of the time true. Like that high. Really. Like, go drink some tea. Like, I
mm.
just
Yeah.
go sit
Mhm.
and don't stare at a screen, just sit.
Right.
Go under your electric blanket.
Yeah. You can get to that point of desperation if you just pause.
Yeah. So it's like these rhythms and these sensing of rhythms, this intuition, it really does have to have some calibration to it.
Hmm.
You can't just be like in this space of extreme desperation all the time and think that you're going to have a pretty, like, a sensitive instrument that's like balanced.
Well, how
Like,
could you? Yeah, how could you?
it's not fair to ask that of yourself. I mean, obviously, people get all sorts of amazing intuitive psychic mediumship experiences under duress.
Hmm.
And one of my teachers talks about that, like a lot of us who maybe had a lot of like formative trauma or, or trauma or experiencing trauma from our formative years, like our dial is set to like hypervigilance, and it's set all the way up. And so like the sensitivity is like to the max,
Mhm.
even though you don't really need to have that dial set. You can set it anywhere you want. You could turn it all the way down, you know? Um, but there's only so long that you can sustain that level of freneticness.
Yeah, well, and then the quality of the message is not going to be clear
Ooh.
because you're already in this fear state. It's like whatever you receive is going to be heightened, amplified, blown out of proportion, most likely. Not something you necessarily need to act on, you know? There's like a sense
Mm.
of urgency in that.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, you can really like, you can get a clear message in a sense. Like it can be a message, and that did come through. And
Mhm.
other people could even, confirm it with you. But how you're translating that, that's another thing entirely. And like understanding your own filter, like so when people say we're doing the work, or like we're in therapy, or we're trying to heal or deal with things, you know it's like understanding your filter, of which everyone has, and you are never going to be without a filter
And
ever.
many, not just one, we have many filters. This is something I learned in the healing school that I'm going to is like, w where are you asking from? What kind of question are you asking and where are you asking it from? And
I have
that,
a
yeah.
Yeah, I have a listening exercise that I guide people through sometimes, because listening has a lot to do with like your memory and your somatic memory. So like you may hear a sound and it brings something up for you in your somatic experience, and someone else might hear the same sound and it doesn't do that for them, right? So oftentimes, like, I ask people, well, what part of you is listening right now?
Mm.
And like I have like PTSD and sound stuff from my PTSD, and so and that's where I got this exercise from, actually, was like that the part of myself that's listening to that particular sound that triggers me is not necessarily the part of me that's this other version, or you know what I mean. And so it's
Yeah.
like we're quite more reactive than we realize.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you're in that state of reactivity, that's when you need to pause and say, okay, I hear you. It's all right. I hear what you're saying, and let's sit with this a little bit before we do anything.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of funny, like just a very mild version of that today. Like I was pulling cards, just trying to plan some dates around an event. And the cards were like very positive for the dates. I say that, typical cards that you're like, oh, those are
Yeah.
some nice cards.
Do you work with tarot? What do you work with?
Yeah, yeah, I work with tarot primarily. And it was like the chariot for one, like they were great. They were great cards. But I had this deeper feel to that me asking in this state and where I'm at right now needed a little bit more breathing room. Like I
Mm.
could have written that email and been like, yeah, but I got this feeling like, no, like that could be, these still could be great dates. That could have been great information, but also there's maybe more to this right now that needs to just like have some space and some room to relax.
Yeah, that was really wise. It's similar to the people that were coming to you for readings in desperation. It's like, what state are you coming in? How's this going to be? How's this going to land for you? And how are you going to interpret it in this state?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. People don't want to talk about that too much, because then it's like, I think intuition is already so gaslit in our society,
Mm.
or like, people have fought
Right.
so
Right.
hard to be able to be recognized for their psychic skills or their mediumship.
Mm.
I totally understand that. But we do have to be true to ourselves. Like, and just like say, is that am I in the best space to read? Am I in the best spot to ask this question? You're right. Like, where's this question coming from? Is it born out of desperation? Is it born out of like fear?
Hmm.
A lot of times people are asking questions out of fear. And they keep asking the same question, and they're not going to get an expansive or illuminating answer.
When they're looking for something to validate the fear or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Totally. Yeah. And I saw that in readings too. You know, people would want to have a specific loved one come in because they were worried about a specific
Mm.
thing. And it's like, well, someone else, your other loved one is here right now. Can we talk to them first?
There's probably a reason. That's so cool. Oh wow. I feel like we've gone a lot of places again and there's always more. I feel like I still have more questions for you and more to our conversation, but this feels like a natural kind of place to land and let it settle. And can we talk a little bit about potential future collaboration?
I love that. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Mm,
Um, I guess we were talking a lot about intuition, and we were talking about the signs and like tracking some of those signs and how we've noticed those signs. And not just like, I mean, I think that a lot of it had to do with our connections to the earth, like to
mhm.
land
Yeah.
and nature. Um, and you know, like the kind of extra sense, or the other day I put it as like the things you can see and verify, like tracks in the snow
Yeah.
and like bird song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are like the clear physical signs in the physical world.
Yeah.
And then there are like the kind of like you don't see necessarily the through thread immediately, which are like often those psychic or like kind of extra signs and signals
Mm.
that come through. And those are really interesting. Like I was walking some new land the other day that I was invited to, and you know, like a bear came through, and they were like, "Yes, we recently had this bear that came through
Mm.
here," and I was like, "Okay, great," and like, "Oh, here's this owl. Like this owl lives here, right?" And they're like,
Yeah.
"Yes, there is an owl that lives right here," and so
Yeah.
like starting to like pick up on um what comes through in ways, and then how do you confirm those things, and those just yeah, in the part that intuition is that plays in that process.
Yeah, the owls have been very active here lately, and I've seen, I don't know if she's the same owl, but I've seen this owl in the daytime. One time I was sitting right here on the deck and I was on a call and the owl swooped right down and grabbed something from the ground, like right just a few feet away from me, flew up into the tree, and then just the other day we saw her up in the tree there and
Was it a barred owl?
yeah, barred owl. And then I've been
Yeah.
hearing them at night lately. And this is total non sequitur, but I was just waking up in the morning and I opened up my blinds and I was kind of ruminating on something and a bald eagle, like I never see bald eagles here, flew right like in my sight line through the wind, like up over the house in like a perfect, just straight soaring position. And it just cleared my mind. And you know, this is like
Mm.
it just told me like it didn't have to say any, you know, it just felt this like get out of your head, get back into yourself.
Mm-hmm.
uh, it cleared the air.
Can you tell me what day that was? Do you remember?
It might have been Tuesday, Monday,
Okay. I
Monday. I
just
think Monday. I think it was. I'm
okay.
sure I have it written down. I just
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
was earlier in the week. It was either on the weekend or Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, why? Did you have an
I
eagle?
had a plethora of bald eagle experiences in one day recently. It
Hmm.
was on the Friday, I think it was the 27th,
Okay.
and I had lost something in the snow, and it was like something that was really expensive. It was actually a piece of a camera
Oh,
that
shoot.
I had lot, and I had just bought this camera, and I was really scared about it. And we were looking for like an hour in the snow, and the sun was like really starting to set. And this bald eagle came through, and immediately I felt this sense of clarity.
Yeah.
And then literally the next moment, I found this piece of this
Yeah.
camera. I had been searching for like an hour, like
Whoa.
looking for this thing, and me and my friend were just like freaking out. And then I was like, clarity. Like
Clarity.
literally, that was
Yeah.
the word that came through. And I was like, okay. And then there it was.
Yeah,
And I was,
I hadn't associated them with clarity until that moment, but it really was a moment of clarity.
so for those who are watching this and wondering what are the kinds of things that we would probably talk about and get into,
Yeah.
this is like the kind of thing where it's like, no one's going to go and give you this roadmap quite, but if you track it enough and you also track it with friends,
Yeah.
like
To
like
confirm. Yeah.
now we're kind of like, okay, bald eagle has a possibility of this connection to clarity that is worth noting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that. I think that's a perfect description of what we're going to get into, and know that it is like a personal experience. It's yeah, we're going to give you some signposts, but they're not going to be it's not prescriptive.
No, and I think it has to do with who and where you're connected to.
Yeah.
Like not everyone's supposed to do the same thing or be in the
Yeah.
same
Not
relationships.
everyone's going to have a Freya, they're going to have their own.
Yeah. So your signs and symbols, your ways of understanding those connections and how they're speaking to you or coming through are going to be your own.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited about working with other people and working with you and just learning more
Yeah,
like
it's going to
together.
expand. Yeah, expand and bring some confirmation to whatever you're experiencing that you might question.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hope we talk a lot about dreams.
Yeah, I mean that's
I feel like we didn't get a chance to really talk too much. We talked a little bit about it, but if I had one thing to just give everyone as a gift,
yeah.
like dreams.
Yeah, I've been tracking my dreams for I mean at least 10 years methodically every day. So,
Incredible.
yeah, and I've learned a lot of interesting things in that practice, and I always say it's a long game. It's not, one dream you might chew on for years. Yeah.
I mean, they do tend to I feel like they're carried like story medicine with
Hmm.
you. Like the dream
Yeah.
medicine is like it's meant to come back and back and back
Yeah.
because it is like actually out like in like omnidirectionally in time and space relevant. Like it's always relevant
Mm-hmm.
when those dreams come back. I carry them as stories essentially because they're so important
Mm-hmm.
to like being anchored in a reality that isn't so limited to capitalism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to learn more from you as we do this.
Same thing. 10 years of tracking your dreams daily is incredible. Like, you're very disciplined.
It's feels like it's shifting a lot lately, but yeah. And again, there are dry periods. It's like sailing, you might hit the doldrums sometimes, but then
I've
a big
never really
gust of wind.
sailed.
No, I mean I have been sailing, but I'm not proficient at it, but I would say that you know the wind picks up and you're sailing along and then it slows down and you're not moving anywhere. So dreams are a bit like that too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I want to have a whole episode with you on dreams then, because
Let's do it.
that's so freaking cool. Yeah. Oh, thank
Oh,
you so
so
much,
great to
Liz.
have you here once again, and I look forward to more conversations and collaborations with you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Zaneta.
Thanks, Liz.
Yay!